we're going to take some questions from the audience here. If you guys have questions, either raise your hand, we'll call on you to unmute yourself to ask on the call, or I can read your question from the chat. Jeff Cassell had a question, this relating to earlier on the shopping centers that you buy. Why is it a depressed market today if they are full? Was Jeff's question.
I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why I could buy apartments back when I did it. 15,000 a door either. It didn't make sense. But it's not my job to figure out why. It's my job to take advantage of it.
That's good. And then, okay, Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, Tom.
Hey,
I'm in Arlington, Texas, and I'm actually I own some office buildings and I'm looking at redeveloping them. And with the new SB rule that's in Texas, SB 840, I believe it is, we can actually build multifamily on top of commercial property. And that is supposed to go into effect in September. My question is, number one, I have a development plan already set in place for business office specialty suites. The name of the company is bossoffice.com. And I was going to add apartments on top of it, of the structured parking, in order to pay for the $10 million parking deck. My question is, I see rents on new buildings going through the roof, rapid, and I see older buildings, rents are going down in regards to occupancies. Occupancies for new is happening bigger and better than the older buildings. Is that what you're saying?
absolutely. That in apartments, and you also see that in office space. There is a huge bifurcation on office right now. There is what they're calling a flight to quality in both office and apartments.
Yep.
Yep.
And are you seeing the same thing happen in shopping centers?
It depends. So if you're in a heavily metro area, yes, you would see that. But that's not where we buy in secondary, tertiary, and rural markets where there is a huge barrier to entry for competition.
That was my other follow-up question. Are you buying local or are you buying out in the weeds?
I'm sitting in Texas City, Texas right now. That's in Galveston County, about 7 miles from the Gulf. And 1 mile from here is where we have a 130,000 square foot shopping center. It is in the metroplex of Houston. But that's an anomaly. I know we're not going to get very many of them bought at a 10 cap in Houston. Now we have one in Rockport, Texas. That's a population 10,000 people. But it's a thriving little community. It's a great place. There's only 3 shopping centers. We own one of them, the biggest of the 3, and we're always full. And so are the other 2. So we love that. We have one in Dayton, Tennessee, 110,000 square foot, 11,000 people. Again, thriving little community. There are 2 big shopping centers there. We have the biggest of the 2. We're both on the same drag and we're both full.
And are you buying all over the United States or are you just buying in red states?
We only buy in the business-friendly states.
Exactly. Thank you, Tom. Have a good day. Good luck
You
tonight.
too.
Thanks, Jeff. CB, go ahead, unmute.
Hi, I am really inspired by your talk, and I have a question. So I live in Silicon Valley, even though I buy across the country. However, in my neighborhood, I have seen a few buildings. It's 7-story high. They're office building. They're completely vacant. What can we do about those buildings?
I don't do anything with them. I don't buy them. That
don't
is
buy
not
them.
what I do.
But you talk about office building.
Yeah,
Just
I have one. I own one office building in Houston that I bought right before COVID, literally 2 months before COVID hit. But I am not I'm not a buyer of office. I don't study office, and I don't know what to do with those buildings.
okay, even though you think people are coming back to the workspace, because I keep
Yes.
looking at them, there got to be some usage for this nice looking building. Like
Yep.
they've been empty since,
There are
yeah.
developers that do a lot of things with them. I have one colleague, actually, he's a borrower of ours, that will buy office buildings, and if the numbers work and the feasibility study comes out right, he'll do a self-storage in it. He'll do a self-storage. in it. There are other guys in New York you could look up that another friend of mine up there lends to guys that do retrofitting and putting apartments in them. But there are a couple of very key factors that have to be present to do that. The floor plate has to be the right size, window placement has to be the right size. There's some real challenges to that. But there are a lot of different uses that I think we'll see coming out of some of those older 70s, 60s, and maybe even early 80s built office buildings. But you really have to know what you're doing to do that, or you can really lose your tail and the tail of any investors that came in with you.
Yeah.
That's not a anything that I would do because I'm not a developer.
So if you were me, seeing property like this, what would you do? Who would you connect that to? Somebody who can benefit from this kind of,
A
because it's
developer.
been M
It would have
developer.
to be a developer in the area. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will. Yeah. Because every day when I drive by, I'm like, what a waste. It's empty. Such a nice building. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
You're
CB.
welcome.
Okay, there's a question in chat from Jay. Tom, is your company still offering DSCR loans that can be wrapped with seller finance?
I don't do that anymore because of the interest rate change. We had to stop those back when interest rates started rising. When was that? 21 or so, I think. 2021, 22, somewhere in there. Once interest rates stabilize, I'll bring that product back again. But we have to be able to do a fixed rate for you in order to make that work. And
Mm,
right now, with interest rates in such a flux, I can't offer a 20-year fixed like that product was.
I see. Okay. What do you think? This is from Christian. What do you think of medical outpatient buildings?
Don't know anything about them.
Okay.
I don't know anything about those. I
Yeah.
focus on one thing and one thing only.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, I don't see any more questions in the chat. So I'm going to ask you about, tell us more about your investors dinner that you're having this evening. How often do you do these? So yeah, give us some
Yeah,
insight into that.
we call it our annual customer appreciation dinner.
Oh, okay.
And this time we're actually having to do two of them because it's grown so big. So we're doing one tonight in Houston, and then we'll do one Thursday night out in El Campo, Texas. And if you look up El Campo, it's like a population of 12,000 people, I think, in the middle of Wharton County, Texas, way out in southeast Texas. And there is nothing out there, but we have raised over $80 million within a
Wow.
10-mile radius of that zip code.
Wow. Is that
So,
from the ranch community? The farm and
yes,
ranch
that's a
community?
lot of farmers and ranchers and business owners in the small towns out that way. Yes. And so
That's amazing.
that investor dinner actually has more RSVPs for Thursday night than my Houston dinner tonight does.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. I
You're
think El Campo beat Houston by 5 RSVPs, I think, because I think we've got like 98 in this one and we've got like 104 or 5 or something out there. So, yeah.
that's so interesting. And
Yeah.
your ranch is down that way too, isn't it?
No, my ranch is in Central Texas, halfway between
Okay.
Houston and Dallas in Leon County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So to get to your question though, Tim, I totally didn't even answer it. Why do I do these? Because I want more and more contact with my investors. I want them to see that I'm a real guy, that I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like they do. I want them to see that I'm authentic and that they can ask me anything. I want
Mm,
to drink a beer with them and have a meal with
right.
them. And I'll put on a little presentation, and it's not a pitch fest. I have two slides on each of my funds, on each of two of my funds. I don't even mention any of the rest. The rest of it is education. I'll be
Mm,
talking about tariffs. I'll be talking about the Fed and interest rate and stuff like that. Because I think if we as capital raisers become educators, they'll want to do business with us. People want to give their money to people they like, know, and trust. And so I want to be there. My wife will be there. I want them to meet us and see that we're real people with kids and grandkids and hobbies and so forth. And of course, we always ask them to bring a friend, and that is a self-serving situation because a lot of those friends will also become investors. And a lot of the folks that are already investors next week will dump more money in because they loved the dinner, they loved the interaction with us, and so forth. It certainly pays for itself every time we do it. And it is just another attempt to get another touch. And I think the
Right.
more touches you can have as a capital raiser, the better you do. So I do a quarterly update video on all of our shopping center funds. I do a monthly update video on our growth and income note funds. Even though there's nothing to update, I still will find something to talk about just for a 8, 10, 15-minute video to send out along with their statement. And then I started a podcast so that I can do weekly updates. And I talk about all things economics on the podcast and investing and real estate and so forth. And I encourage my investors and capital partners to avail themselves of that as well. Again, it's just another touch point, another time for them to hear my expertise, or I hope they see it as that anyway. And if they do, then that makes them more comfortable again investing with us.
Excellent. Love that. All right, Posty, you got the last question, buddy. Go
All
ahead.
right, thanks. Hey, Tom, thanks for sharing these nugget knowledge. Real quick, the structure of your fund, is that Reg D 506C or a Reg A plus? What do you typically use?
Most of ours are Cs. We have a few exemption Bs, and we have one Reg A.
Got it.
But the two funds that I've mentioned most, the income fund and the growth fund, and the shopping center funds, those are all exemption Cs.
So do you advertise those as in,
We do.
Do you use any
No,
social media and stuff for that?
We can, but we don't. We have the ability to advertise, but honestly, I've done radio ads, we've done pay-per-click, we've done all the online crap, and I've just never really found a lot of value in advertising. I was talking to a doctor client who was referred to us the other day, and he asked for a phone call. So we talked for 45 minutes. And at the end, he said, I've never heard of you. Do you advertise? And I said, let me ask you, Doc, if I did and you ran across my ad, even if it was a really slick ad, and even if I had a great landing page for you to go to and look at, would you have sent me money from it? And he's, hell no. I said,
No, you always need that conversation or that
I
touch
said,
point.
exactly. So yes, we have a website, we do a little advertising, but really it's just for credibility because I don't live under any illusion that somebody's going to just stumble across my website and be enamored by what they see and send us capital. That's not going to work that way. So 90% or more of our investor clients are referrals from other clients. And we
Oh, wow.
really work that referral system.
Wow.
The 10% that just come off the street or the internet or whatever, or a phone call, they have still heard about us somewhere in our circle.
Right.
I still believe that 10% is a referral in some way. They just forget how. But 90% are confirmed referrals.
Yeah.
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
super impressive. That's very impressive. Speaks volume in how you do business and how you take care of your investors. To go, so we're gonna wrap up this part of wrap up our show here. For those that want to reach out to you, invest with you, learn from you, where would you like to send them?
Yeah, my email address is the easiest way to reach out. I answer and read every email. I don't have AI doing it. I don't have an assistant do it. So it's tom@ilslegacy.com. I put it in the chat earlier, tom@ilslegacy.com. And then if you're interested in hearing more about real estate, investing, funds, and so forth, and you'd like to catch my podcast, it's called The Invested Mindset. The Invested Mindset.
I
Apple,
love it.
Spotify, you can get all of them on YouTube if you just go there and punch in The Invested Mindset. Yeah, just connect with me via email and happy to have a conversation about any of those things.
Okay. All right, Tom, thank you so much for being on our show today. Really appreciate you. You've been a wealth amount of knowledge and wisdom. And I just love having conversations with you because you're so super smart, not just in understanding market and investing, but just how you are with like people and relationships with people and things like that. I'm honored to have been a part of your journey and super glad that we stay friends and stay connected throughout the years.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Tim. I appreciate it.
Yes, and don't go yet. We're gonna take a group picture real quick before we let you
okay.
go. Yes.
Okay.
Hey guys, let's turn on your cameras. We're gonna take a group picture with Tom real quick here. I'm gonna adjust my screen. All right. So Tom, we flex on our show for our group pictures for fun.
Okay.
So you
All
guys
right.
ready?
Here we go.
Three. Yep. 3, 2, 1. Yay!